Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Rain, calling on my phone. Baby, yeah, leave me alone. Rain, calling on my phone. Baby, yeah, leave me alone. Holding up on the gas, no, motherfuckers hate me like, I guess they mad, yeah, they mad that they can't get a bag like me, no. Whoa, bitch calling on my phone. Unknown number, I'ma leave that shit alone. She stone cold.
What's up guys, I'm Landon from Shoeware, and today we're checking out the third and final shoe for Nike's Greater Than shoe line, the Air Zoom GT Jump in this own space colorway. So first, thank you guys for stopping by to check us out. Feel free to drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching and give this video a like. We would greatly appreciate that. But starting off with the box and the price, like I said, this is the third and final shoe for that Greater Than series. So all of them kind of had the same box with kind of their own logo in the middle. So the GT Cut just kind of had a jagged arrow kind of run through that middle circle. The GT Run had like a squiggly line, do the same exact thing. So these are just going to have an arrow kind of pointing up into the middle to just signify the jump model. So it is a really simple look, but I still think it's clean. And then as for pricing, I did kind of pay over the retail price to get these early, so I'm not totally sure what they will retail for. The GT Cuts were $170, and then the GT Runs were $5 higher at $175, which is kind of annoying because that was like a worse shoe, but you know, that's neither here nor there. So these could end up being, you know, this jump model is maybe going to sit around $180. They honestly might end up being higher, you know, with all the stuff that they packed into this shoe, but I am really excited to get into this for you guys, so let's do it. Alright, so checking out the overall design and the appearance for these shoes before I get into the performance side, I honestly think this is a pretty tough model. So Nike kind of hit on all three shoe heights for this Greater Than series now. So you're going to have the GT Cut, which was a low, and then the Run was more of a mid-top, but I would classify this jump model as a high-top design. I don't normally love the look for high tops all that much, but I mean, I'm rocking with these shoes all day. So something cool about this design is that they do label on the shoe a lot of what is being used on the inside and just kind of on top of them. So I do love it whenever shoes do that. I'm not going to spoil it for you right now because I'm going to get into that a little bit deeper once I talk about the performance side here in just a second. But this colorway gets an interstellar look with like a black and a gray color scheme. Or I guess it's maybe more of a silver than it is a gray, but you're also going to get a speckled midsole that it's honestly pretty tough. It does remind me of the Jordan 4, kind of how they tossed that speckled midsole design kind of off and on that model, but the tongue is really cool too. So on the left shoe, it's going to say Own Space for the colorway name, and that text is also going to show up on the back heel for that left shoe. And then for the right tongue, it's just going to have the Jump logo, but it's in this like glossy or this translucent design that you can only see from certain angles. So I mean, like I've been saying, this is just a super detailed shoe. I also like that you get a window to kind of see through the side of the shoe with like the middle of the shoe where that eclipse plate is. And then you're also going to get some really faint Greater Than sign that shows up in this off-white looking color kind of around the toe, but the back heel design also kind of separates to look a little bit like the Jump logo that's used for this model. So I feel like I could keep going on about this shoe for the appearance for a while because there's just so much, but I mean that covers most of the design. So now let's see how these shoes hold up on the court. Alright, so now checking out the tech specs and looking at the cushioning first, without a doubt, that is the area that they put the most into this shoe. So now getting into the parts where like Nike kind of spells out what's going on within this model. On the outsole, you're actually going to get like a grocery list of what's being used within this shoe for the cushioning setup, and you know, spoiler, it's a lot. So you're going to get some System of Air text kind of show up in the front half of that shoe that's going to signify the Zoom Air unit in the forefoot, but it's also going to be a Zoom Air unit in the heel too. It says like Zoom heel, and then on top of that you're going to get a P-Bax jump frame, and then on top of that you're going to get a full-length Zoom Air Strobel unit. So you can see the cushion units in the back half of the shoe too. They're exposed just a little bit. I like that whole aspect, but any more cushioning features built into this shoe and it just might pop. Like it already feels like I'm playing 3 inches higher off the ground than usual, and of course I don't mind that. So you know, each shoe in this Greater Than series was kind of geared for like a different style of play, which honestly is a really cool concept. So the GT Cut, it kind of kept you low to the ground for like better cutting and like change of direction quickly. For the GT Run, you were going to get more of like an energy return and more of like the running aspect. But as for this GT Jump, it focuses like the vertical jump jumping and like your impact protection. So honestly, these felt really nice to play in. There's pretty much no break-in time needed for these at all. And then for all of the cushioning that's packed into this shoe, they honestly kept a relatively light feel. And these have Tushlon in the midsole to make these even softer to play in, just on top of everything else. So they are going to kind of follow the same mold from the LeBron 19, just as far as like the structure, you know, especially the height. And that was a soft shoe too, but the LeBron 19 was kind of heavy. I think that Nike did a really good job of keeping this shoe lighter just for a better playing experience. All right, so moving on to the materials and the support now. These have a ton going on here too. So labeled in this black portion is going to be the Nike Jump frame, and that's kind of what helps keep the cushioning intact. It sort of acts like a brace to just keep that whole cushioning setup under control. And you know, I just spent what felt like half an hour going over all of the cushioning features for this GT Jump, so I don't really feel like I need to throw that into this materials section. Just feel free to like rewind the video and watch that again if you want to hear about it. But you know, as for the upper, you can see that this is made up of that Nike Jump wire setup. It's kind of marked out near the ankle on that black strip, and you know, these feel really secure to play in. It's also going to be see-through in this middle portion of this upper, so you know the shoe is going to be very breathable for your foot. And then it kind of switches to like a darker gray near the ankle and near the heel. They kind of filled that in, so that's maybe to give you more of a secure foot. But honestly, it is a locked-in feel for this GT Jump model. And then Nike used some like lighter materials to make up the upper with that wire design, so I do think that's what ultimately kind of helped keep this shoe super nice to play in. But the support definitely checks out as well. You got like a Nike swoosh near the back heel that kind of extends up a little bit from that midsole. That's maybe going to help with some lateral containment, but just a little bit. And then it is a high top shoe, so you can lace these up a little bit higher. Just sometimes that makes your ankle feel just a little more safe. So honestly, really nice features for this GT Jump, just as far as the materials and the support both. Alright, so to finish off with traction, if you've been waiting this whole review to find the weak point on this GT Jump, well, keep waiting, because you are not going to find it here. These are equipped with a traditional herringbone setup that is really nice. So you're going to have those arrows kind of running horizontally in the middle of that outsole, and then it sort of shifts to running in a vertical formation around the edges. So these are going to have you covered for your front to back, as well as those side to side movements. And you know, it's pretty sticky for the design too. I played on a really dusty court my first few times using this GT Jump model, and they still grip the floor well. So I would say it's kind of sticky, maybe not super sticky, but honestly nothing to knock on them as far as the traction goes. But to finish off with sizing, I did go true to size. There's maybe a little extra room as for the length, but I don't think there's enough to where I would change up what I went with. So it is somewhat of a narrow design, so definitely keep that in mind whenever you're ordering these. But you know, overall, I am really impressed by this new Nike GT Jump shoe. I mean, I had to wait forever for them to drop, because the other GT Cut and the Run, they released last year. But you know, putting this much cushion into every single shoe for this Jump model, I guess I can see now what the delay is all about. So if you're willing and able to get these for the higher retail price, without a doubt worth it in my opinion. So if you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, we do have an affiliate link in the description that gives us a little commission that just goes back into reviewing more shoes. So feel free to check that out. But that wraps up this performance review. Feel free to leave a comment below if you like this video, or just let us know any other shoes you may want us to check out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoeware. Peace.